Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12. That's right, we are on episode 12 of this amazing game of Everlasting Summer. What happened last time, or what's happening right now, would be a better place to start. We need to gather ingredients for someone else to make our cake. I know it's that kind of game. We're on a gather quest right now. Doesn't matter where we start. We're going to the library first. The library. Ahem. If every other place on the cake ingredient list made at least some sense to me, then flour from the library made none. I thought hard about who would put it in the library and why, but couldn't find any sane explanation after all. Given Xenia's harsh nature, I'd better knock first. Open. Xenia peered at me closely from behind her glasses. What do you want? Don't think anything weird, but I didn't want to look like an idiot and decided to explain things carefully. I need some flour. Olga Mitrinov said that it's here. I understand that sounds strange to keep flour in the library, but I was sent to you, and it's needed for a cake to celebrate Shirk's rescue. Yes, I have the flour. What's so strange about it? Xenia replied with surprise. At that second, I felt like I'd been hit on the head with a heavy weight and lost the ability to understand anything at all. Flour in the library. Sure, what's so strange about it? We're in Wonderland. I'm Alice, and now I'm gonna eat that magic mushroom and I'll be back home. Hey. Yeah? I was daydreaming. Wait here. I'll be right back. She disappeared behind the bookshelves while I folded my hands and started waiting. A moment later, the sound of a trapdoor groaning on its hinges reached me. Hey, you need some help? I inquired loudly. I'll deal with it. Xenia barked out to me. She seems to be in the basement, so I'll have to wait a little. Okie dokie. A few minutes passed, but Xenia still hadn't returned. I was starting to get worried when the door was suddenly flung open and Eliza came into the library. Dang, she's wearing her shirt like that again? She looked surprised too, seeing me here. What are you doing here? Am I not allowed to be here? I said rudely to her. Eliza was clearly a bit overwhelmed. What do I care? She snorted and headed to Xenia's table. And why are you here then? Eliza measured me with her eyes carefully and almost opened the mouth to say something, but then seemed to change her mind and turned away, hiding her hands behind her back. Returning the book? I blurted the first thing off the top of my head. It's none of your business. Look at those milkers. Those are some nice milkers. I ain't gonna lie. She replied with a hint of hesitation. What book is it? Eliza was silent. Oh, come on. Let me see it. I wonder what Miss High Voltage Keepaway reads. It's none of your business, Baka. Her voice was even less confident. Okay. I don't insist or anything. In fact, I was quite interested to find out what Eliza was reading. Moreover, I was quite amused to see a book in her hands. TV, movies, or a computer. If one were available here, all these things seemed to be much more appropriate entertainment for a girl like her. But she had a book instead. Try to snatch the book out of Eliza's hands. Stay on guard. Oh, I want to try to snatch. Dude, I'm snatching. This is the Olympics, and we're trying to break the snatch record in the 102 kilogram class. My curiosity won. I struck at the right moment when Eliza was looking away from me and snatched the book. Ouch! She screamed. In the following second, her face took on such an expression that it made me question my decision. If I'm about to die, at least I will know what for. I held a copy of Gone with the Wind in my hands. That was the same book that Lena was reading that evening on a bench. I was so astonished that I completely forgot about my imminent death. Is it interesting? Yeah. Eliza answered without any enthusiasm, blushing. Okay then. I handed the book back to her. Eliza threw it on the table and left the library quickly without looking at me. So human things aren't alien to her. In the end, she too is a girl. After a quick review of everything that just happened, I concluded that there was actually nothing that strange. Finally, Xenia's deep groan rang out, reaching each and every corner of the library. Grab it. I passed by the bookshelves and beheld the perspiring librarian sitting near the trapdoor leading into the basement with a small sack next to her. Well, they might have some sort of storehouse down there. Thanks. I took the sack and left the library. I grabbed a sip of water. I swallowed said water and felt refreshed. Epic. Thank goodness it wasn't too heavy, so I carried it down to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin without too much effort. All right, we can check out the nurse or the clubhouse. Let's go nurse infirmary. I feel like I've visited the infirmary too often recently, but what can I do? That's how things pan out. I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in, the nurse said with a trace of sing-song accent. Good afternoon. Olga Dmitrievna has sent me to get some, I hesitated slightly, yeast. Sure. She gave me a broad smile. It's just that I don't have any. Pioneer. How so? She said that. Well, I had some, but now there's none left. I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place. Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example. That could be of some use to me, actually. Where do I go get it, then? I sighed. Take this. She opened the drawer and pulled out some kind of bottle. Ostankinosko was a well-known brand of cheap beer in the Soviet Union. I took a closer look. It was Ostakhshno's beer. What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product. She gave me a deep gaze. Nobody will even notice. She had a point, but everything just looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. Are you sure? Absolutely. Okay then. The bottle clearly wouldn't fit into the pocket of my shorts. Well, thanks. I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. Well, beer certainly could replace yeast. Even my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this. But generally walking around with this bottle in my hand looks like a silly idea to me. So I decided to bring it to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anyone noticing the beer. I hid the bottle under my shirt. And everything would have been fine, but Slavia called out to me at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start. How's it going? What exactly? You search for ingredients. Ah, so you know already. This music is quite loud. Oh, I thought I was gonna stop. Yes, I do. Slavia smiled. It's going all right. I answered, trying not to give away my unrest. And what do you have there? She pointed at the bottle sticking out from under my shirt. This? She got me. It's nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was almost running, leaving the square with the puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she is one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions, but there are people in this camp who like nothing better than to poke their nose into other people's business. Passing the pioneers' cabins, I stumbled upon Uliana, the lolly. What are you hiding there? She gave me one of her cheeky looks. I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a cipher. Is that a D and an I? Or a C and an I, or is that a D? A cipher officer bearing a message to headquarters. Okay, that makes sense. That's certainly a big message. I was carrying the bottle at waist height, so I was slightly embarrassed. You want some help? I'll deal with it on my own. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything, nor try to pursue me. There was absolutely nobody at Olga Dmitriyev's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I turned up the music, and I sighed with relief. Really, I couldn't believe that I would even worry that much about a single bottle of beer, like I was back in high school. It's a good thing it's safe now. Even if somebody finds it, I'll claim it's not mine. I could always think up a suitable excuse for my enormous experience. Alright, last on the list is the clubhouse. It feels like I've gone through more things today than all the previous days combined. Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I'd even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. I can come back. No, dude, I'm so glad I'm a part of this club that's making a kitten, cat girl, robot sex doll. That's pretty epic, I ain't gonna lie. Just look how intent Shirk is on finishing this robotic sex doll. That's pretty epic of him. Like, if you have a dream like that, make that a reality. I would invest in this heavily. Shirk and Electro Nick were enthusiastically building something. They were so busy that they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of robot, or at least the body of one. Moreover, this robot was female and had animal ears. I didn't want to make up theories about purpose of such device for luminaries of camp cybernetics. Even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about this robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. But they seemed to be enjoying the process more than the end result itself, and that was something we shared, even though I didn't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism, or jokes. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others, who would call it unrealistic or even absurd. Oh, it looks like I'm truly comparing them to luminaries of the sciences. Hey guys. I greeted them uncertainly. Oh, Markapi, come in. We're always glad to see you. I was actually already inside. You know, sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well, never mind. It's okay. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electro Nick looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person, something he can use in the right moments. Sugar. I need sugar. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind, where some other kind of unit like a builder or something cried out with all of its 5-pixel stature. Gold. We need more gold. We got it, said Electronet calmly. Why would you want it? I felt that I shouldn't explain to Shirk that they want to bake a cake for him. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. I don't know. Olga Dmitrievna told me to get some. Okay, hang on. Electronic disappeared behind the door into the next room. And why do you have sugar here? Why not in the canteen? When the food truck came last time, it was the last thing to unload. And given that our building is the closest one to the entrance, they decided to leave it here to save some effort. That's reasonable, isn't it? The door opened, revealing Electronic hauling a huge bag behind him. I really didn't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need it all. But where would we put it? Electronick gave me a surprised look. We don't have a place for it. You asked for sugar, so take it. It seems that the previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Maybe you'll help me then. It's not that far to carry. We're busy. He pointed his hand at the robot. I gazed at Churik. He owed me, after all. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. I sighed, took the bag, and headed to the door. Thanks anyway, I said at parting, exerting myself. Another sip of water would do me justice. Hope everyone's doing well today. But I didn't make it too far. Just after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down to have a rest. I had no idea how much it weighed, but it felt more than 20 kilos. Wow, that's pretty weak if you can't carry a bag that far. That's only like 50 pounds or so. That's like less than 50. What a pussy. On the one hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternately, geez, I'm so upset that English is my 18th language and I'm from Siberia, or alternately in my hands, or on my legs, or under my arm, or even on my head, looked impossible for me to cover. And as I resigned myself to move in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them, so I could get there by night at least, I heard a voice behind me. Maybe I could help you. I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can. It was one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape. I can bring a handcart. A handcart? Why didn't I think of that myself? Yes, that would be great. Wait here. I'll be right back. I don't know what a handcart is. Is that like a wheelbarrow? She smiled and ran in the direction of the square. What would I do without her? It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes. I started to think. She seemed quite unusual now, with no trace of shyness on her face and actually the complete opposite. Smiles and confidence. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary by itself, but getting it from Lena? A few minutes later, she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks. Don't mention it. She blushed and looked down. Oh, the Lena we all know is back. So, I'll go then. Yes, see you. And thank you again, I shouted after her. Sometimes I felt like there are two different people living inside of Lena, but the second one, confident, happy, and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Or am I making things up again? I think there's a thunderstorm going on outside. Don't want to DDoS myself, but I am in Montana right now. I thought that it would be better if I get all the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin with the handcart. I don't even know what the handcart is still. Finally, it seems that everything has been collected. I took the handcart with sugar outside and put the sack with the flour in it, followed by the 2 baskets of strawberries that somehow fitted in between. And the beer was hidden under my shirt just in case. The day was coming to its end, so I had to hurry, as cake itself will need some time to bake. Of course, I'd rather enjoy lying down, closing my eyes, and getting a decent sleep, but I just couldn't let Olga Dmitrievna down. Indeed, after all the trouble I'd gone to, I even felt personally responsible for the success of this event. Coming to the square, I stopped for a moment to catch my breath. It wasn't that the cart was that heavy. It ran smoothly without any noticeable effort required. It was just that any physical exertion caused pain to me now. Both a physical and a mental one. I sat down on the bench and closed my eyes for a moment. What's that? I didn't really give a damn who it was. Probably just a fellow pioneer girl taking an interest in an unfamiliar companion in distress. What are you talking about? I asked her tiredly. She didn't reply. Those are the ingredients for a cake. Do you like cake? I don't know. What, you never tried cake? I don't know. Obviously, the girl didn't get what I was talking about, but it didn't surprise me at that moment. I really wasn't interested in the conversation. I was so tired that I had zero intention of classifying external distractions and tagging them as either common or uncommon. I see. Come down to the canteen later and have a bite. Really? Really. And what are they made of? What? I asked her indifferently. These cakes. Well, some flour, some sugar, various fillings. Now that's a strange question. Doesn't she know what cakes are made of? And you have it all here? Yeah, sort of. And sugar? And sugar. Could you lend me a little? What for? I thought it was over the top. A sudden gust of wind made me grab the cart instinctively and open my eyes. However, nobody was there. Am I daydreaming? I noticed, though, that the sugar sack was untied and a small heap of it poured out. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? This has happened a couple times to us, like with that whole magical apple we ate, and then this girl who we didn't see in the nightmares. Something's going on here, but I don't know what. I just know something is in fact going on. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? I think I said that line already. Having fixed the sack, I got up from the bench and continued on my challenging strawberry way. There wasn't a single person near the canteen. No wonder, dinner was still an hour away. I brought the handcart to the rear exit and handed the food stuff to the camp cook. She must have already told me what to do with them, as she gave me such an unpleasant look. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I just wanted to relax for the remaining time up until dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited. My eyes closed themselves. I guess I got so tired throughout the day that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. I need a drink of water if I'm going to be doing the Miku. Oh, man. Hi! Miku was standing before me. Yeah? I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Oh, excuse me. I must have interrupted you. No problem. I was just sitting here. Ah, all right then. Miku beamed with a smile. I was just coming to dinner. I thought that it's already time and that it's time already, and then it appeared to me that it's too early, but I decided to check in just in case. Maybe it's me who was mistaken, but the clock is. Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken. It's just that I misread it. She seemed to be ultimately confused now and fell silent. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great. Then I'll sit here and wait with you if you don't mind. Frankly speaking, I do mind. You know, I have some matters to attend to. Dude, I am tired of the Miku bullying going on. Like, it's just blatant racism. I love me some Asian girls, man. I stood up quickly and left without saying goodbye, ignoring Miku as I always did, while she screamed something after me. Dude, that's not epic that we ignore Miku. I don't know who made this choice to ignore Miku. It was not me. I did not sign off on that. That is not epic. A minute later, I got to the square and sat on the bench with the firm intention of finding a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. I think that's the first time in the last 4.5 days that when I felt like this. I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant details, but I was really angry. I've completely stopped caring about where I am and why I'm here. I don't care about how to get out either. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid task given by our camp leader, and it's always me who gets into stupid situations and sometimes even ends up looking like a clown. If all of this is some alien trick or plot of the universal mind, they better consult with the psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fist. And most annoying thing is that everything that happens seems to happen by itself somehow. I'd be happier not having to carry around bags of sugar that weigh a ton, but I had no choice at all. 20 kilograms is not a ton. Call the hyperbole police, am I right, fellas? I mean, any other option would lead to much worse consequences than a muscle strain or hurt pride. I cannot read for some reason right now. I don't know what's going on, but like my mouth and my vocal cords are on two different wavelengths. They're just not cooperating. And oh no, Juliana. Who are you angry with? Juliana was standing in front of me and smiled slyly. Nobody really, I answered absently. But my fist gave me away. Just like that. Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me, why did you run around the camp the whole day with some kind of bags? I had to. I replied reluctantly. I guess it was food. Maybe it was. Oleana was about to say something, but at that moment the bell rang, calling the pioneers for dinner. I sighed in relief and quickly headed to the canteen, leaving Oleana behind. Our milk goddess awakens. Markapi, thank you very much. For what? The camp leader gave me a friendly smile. For the cake, of course. Ah, sure. It was at that exact moment that I understood the true meaning of the saying, keep your thanks to feed your cat. You didn't tell anybody. This ought to be a surprise. Yeah. That's my boy. Dude, I wish oh my gosh, Olga, if I was your boy. Oh my fucking gosh. Oh my fucking gosh. And now off you go to dinner. Olga Dmitrinov waved her hand, pointing at the canteen. I stepped through the doorway slowly and started to look for a free place. It turned out there were plenty today, so I got the chance to eat all alone. There was fish with mashed potatoes for dinner. What misfortune once again I'll be left half hungry. And didn't we have fish for lunch? Is it the fish only day today? Having pushed my plate with the fried sea dweller away, I laid my head on my hands and closed my eyes. But soon somebody came up to the table. Hey, are you all right? I'm fine. I replied without changing my position. Just tired? Yeah, a little. That's so bad. Slavia said it seriously. Of course. You remember that we are going for the hike after the dinner, don't you? Have you prepared everything? What? Where? I opened my eyes and lifted my head up instantly. Lena was standing by Slavia. The hike? She was surprised. Didn't you know? No. I put my head down on the table and covered it with my hands. If only I could sink into the ground right away. The girls remained silent. I was left alone with my thoughts for some time, and that was fine by me. Maybe I could have sat that way until the end of dinner time, but the strong voice of Olga Dmitrinov was heard from the opposite end of the canteen. Guys, to celebrate the miraculous... I'm gay, okay? To celebrate the miraculous rescue of our friend and comrade Shirik, we baked this cake for you all. I lifted my head idly and looked towards the camp leader, but couldn't see anything beyond the pioneers' backs. Just a second, and nothing about me. Nothing about me rescuing Shirik or gathering the ingredients for the cake. As if that's how it ought to be. Well, it would be wrong to expect anything else from our camp leader. Let's go, or we won't get our share, Slavia smiled. Let's go. Lena agreed. Yeah, sure. I got up reluctantly and tagged along behind the girls. Gosh, milk goddess. As we approached the crowd of pioneers, Olga Dmitrievna was just putting the cake in the center of the table. And now, the camp leader wasn't able to finish as Uliana rushed out from the pioneer crowd and dived into the cake. She managed to nibble it a few times before she pulled away. This is weird. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from the outside at all this drama. Eliza smiling, Lena picking up some cream with her finger, all the furious pioneers around. I felt completely out of place here. I thought that if I closed my eyes now and opened them again, here I am, back to the safety of my apartment in front of a computer. I blinked, but nothing changed. Only the noise and confusion became sharper. Dude, every time she puts those hands on the hips, the milkers... Dude, one of her milkers is bigger than the entire head of Uliana. Also, her torso. Her milkers comprise Uliana's torso. Oh my goodness. If there was a route to romance Olga, I would have to pick it, honestly. Uliana, that's the limit. Well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top even for her. Shurik broke into the conversation, or is it the court-martial? Please, Olga Dmitrievna, since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. It doesn't matter. The camp leader turned to Uliana. And you. Today, I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent, so you'll behave next time. Oh, whatever. She snorted and turned back. You won't be going on that hike with us tonight. As if I wanted to. I was more than willing to switch places with Uliana and skip the hike instead of her, but who knew? If I had guessed beforehand, I'd have been the first one to go berserk and smash that damn cake. After a couple of minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. You have to get ready too. There will be a lineup at the square in half an hour. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my attitude non-verbally, but it seems that I failed. Don't be late. Uliana was sitting at the table when I approached her on my way to the exit. So, why do you do it? She looked very upset, but she had a right to do so. I wanted to. Sorry. I wanted to, Uliana replied abruptly. So, you're happy now? Of course I am. And you. Good luck with the hiking. She smiled mischievously, sprang up, and rushed out of the canteen. Well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. Walk and you shall reach. Was exactly this proverb. That dude, I don't know if it's me or every once in a while there's some Russian typos. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired. I don't know. My reading comprehension, if you ask me to read a sentence out loud right now, say my family is being held hostage at gunpoint and I have to read just one sentence of Cat in the Hat without stuttering or misspeaking to get them alive, to get them out alive and not die, I would probably lose my family at this point. Which is why we're going to call it an episode after the next sentence or two. Tell you what, I'll call it an episode if I stutter 2 or 3 times in one sentence. Walk and you shall reach. Was exactly this proverb that kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or to just skip it without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness, although sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed this sweater that I had on me when I first arrived in the camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. Alright, I'm calling it there. I think that's a great place to stop for episode... We are on episode 12. This is episode 12. That's pretty epic. Yeah. So thank you for watching this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe. That would be pretty epic of you. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you today. Hope you have an epic day, and I'll see you with another episode pretty darn soon. And as always, help me find a girlfriend. And bye-bye.